Hey there, Angelina Crittenden, MSPTA here with another MSP lesson guide video. So this is Unit 1, Oncology, and this is Lesson 2, Cancer Cells and Numbers. So in this lesson, we teach our students how cancer cells divide and multiply at a very, very rapid rate. And it's really their first introduction to cells in general, but more so than the actual science behind cells and like the inner mechanisms of cancer cells. We just want them to visualize the sheer number of cancer cells and how they are so different from healthy cells in terms of how quickly they divide. So in this lesson, we have the number of different things. And basically, these numbers represent all kinds of things like number of cells in your body, people in the world, hairs on your head, stars you can see at night. And the way I like to start this lesson off is by having students just guess first, like how many hairs on your head do you think you have? And how many stars can you see on a clear night? And they'll throw out something like 100 or 1,000,000 or 1,000, or random numbers like that without really thinking about it. And when we get to the questions like the number of cells in your body is more abstract. They don't even really know what cells are at this point. So you have to introduce that to them first. And after you have this kind of guessing game where it's kind of a free-for-all, you can write the actual answers on the board, but don't pair them up yet. So what I did was I wrote each of these numbers on the board in ascending order. So I started with 2,000 and then 100,000 and so on, in kind of like a pyramid shape. And then I asked the students, so which one do you think is a value of 2,000, right? And obviously it's one of these. I believe it's the number of hairs on your head. And so you just get them to guess which value fits which inquiry, okay? And they're really, 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 really not well versed in any of these in particular, so you might have to do a little guidance, like we have a lot of cells in our body and cells are super, super small. So do you think it's a bigger number or a smaller number? So some sort of guiding statements like that to sort of push them to the correct value. So, okay, so see, the 2,000 was actually stars you can see, and then 100,000 is hairs on your head. But this is how I wrote it on the board. So the numbers in ascending order, and then I filled in the blanks on the side and as I had them guess. But the real important thing here is to go over cells, because they don't know what cells are. They've never heard of them. Most of them have never heard of them before. And so you kind of have to make them think like, there's more cells in your body than there are trees on earth, people in the world, children in America, hairs on your head, stars you can see, all combined even. And that's something that they can't really comprehend at this point. But you just have to reinforce the fact that cells are the smallest living building blocks of our body. And so we have a ton of them. But yes, you have to keep telling them these are really, really, really tiny. And they're going to ask, is it smaller than an ant? Yes, it's smaller than an ant. Is it smaller than, some other small creature? And the answer is yes. They're also going to wonder if other things are made of cells. So you're going to tell them that cells make up the human body. And maybe they'll ask, are dogs made of cells? And the answer is yes. Every living thing is made up of cells. Trees, ants, dogs, cats, everything. So make sure they understand that. And make sure they understand that living things with cells can get cancer, because healthy cells of any kind can really turn into cancerous cells that rapidly divide. Okay, so you really want to reinforce that cells are plentiful and that all living things, no matter what size they are made of cells. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have for this lesson.